Up next on End of the Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at Speedway Stout. This is an Imperial Coffee Stout by Alesmith Brewing Company, coming in at 12% ABV. Check it out. Hi everybody, it's Rich and welcome to End of the Day Beer Review. And today we are looking at an offering by Alesmith Brewing Company. This is called Speedway Stout. It is an Imperial Stout with coffee. Now, we have had another Speedway Stout on the channel, but it was double fudge. So it was an, a variant of this particular stout. Now it says, experience the bold and legendary taste of Speedway Stout now in a can. This modern classic is infused with richly roasted local coffee and boasts intense flavors of chocolate, malt, dark fruit, and I'm going to stop talking about it there. So this is supposed to be served between 50 and 55. It's a California company, and I've had some of their stuff before. So this is proudly brewed and canned in San Diego. I'm a fan of San Diego. I like the city. Let's crack this open and let's check it out. Now, again, it is a 12%er. It also says I should be using... Sorry about that, folks. There's going to be a weird cut here. I'm sorry. I switched over to the goblet. The weird cut, by the way, is I have a battery that keeps malfunctioning. And I'm stupidly thinking it's going to get better. I'm just going to have to throw it out and get a new one. So I was going to use my trusty Guinness glass, but you know what? It is saying that this should be put into a goblet. So I have one, came out of the dishwasher. Just want to make sure it's clean for the camera. And let's give it a pour. Oh, this literally pours like motor oil, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. I don't know if the camera can pick up the depth of the blackness that is coming out of this can. Little bit of a head, nothing major. Very dark color to it, very dark head, and almost no light getting through this particular beer. Some good lacing, some good legs, and at 12%, that's not surprising. Let's give the nose a try. I'm getting a good amount of that coffee roastiness, and a strong black coffee is what I'm getting from this. Maybe just a hint of chocolate. I'm not getting the dark fruit that they were saying on the side of the can. But you know what? Let's give it a taste. Again, mostly the roast and sort of like that malty, roasty aroma you get from a good stout. That's here. There's also that coffee flavor. And maybe just a hint of chocolate. Let's give it a try. It's very dry, first off. It makes your mouth do that. Now, that being said, I'm getting a couple of different things here. There's a good amount of roast, especially on the front end of this. It's a really nice sort of cup of coffee roastiness to this. About mid-tongue, you get a little bit of chocolate, and it tastes more like a dark chocolate, but it's just a hint. And after the chocolate goes away, there is a bitterness that sort of breaks it all up. Now, the beer doesn't look it, but it's actually remarkably thick. There's a good body to it. And quite frankly, you can tell, that this beer has some power to it. Now, there's one thing I don't like. I'm getting a very vague metallic taste to this. So I am sort of wondering, like, how old is this can? Let's see, what does it say? No, it says canned on 09/25, 2024. So this is fresh. There is just a hint of sort of metallic, almost like that the aluminum can has sort of like soaked into the beer a little bit. Now, it's just a little bit, and it's just enough to like sort of annoy me. I'm not sure if it's something you'd pick up if you weren't really, trying to pull every flavor out of this. But for me, there is a little bit of it there. It's not, this is definitely not a pastry stout. I want to make that clear. And I don't want to make it sound like because it is that, it has that viscousness to it, that thickness to it, that it also has sweetness. It doesn't have any sweetness to it at all. In fact, you're getting sort of like the cocoa of the chocolate. You're getting, you know, black coffee. You're not getting coffee with cream or anything in it. It's an interesting beer, but like to me, this is a beer that a stout drinker is going to really, really like because it is thick, it is chewy, it is complex. It has a relatively mellow end to it. You can feel that this stout has, you know, a high ABV, but because it is so thick and chewy. But what you're not getting is a tremendous burn in the stomach, which is really nice. So this is very, very drinkable. And at 12%, you really, really wouldn't know. And I have to tell you now, like 2-3 sips into it, the metallic taste that was sort of like turning me off to it at the very beginning, that has dissipated almost entirely. And for 12%, you know, sometimes the alcohol can be so forward in these high ABV beers that they're the dominant flavor. That's not the case here. This is a good, solid stout, which allows you to enjoy sort of that roasted malt and coffee flavor to it. It is not burning as you're drinking it, even at 12%. I mean, quite frankly, there are some companies out there that could learn a thing or two about hiding high ABV. Yes, Goose Island, I'm talking to you. You know, and quite frankly, Speedway Stout does a good job of doing that. It is a good, solid stout, very enjoyable. And I have to tell you, like, I think this is one where, you know, not only will I sit back and enjoy it, this is one I would go and look for actively and buy it again. Because it is one of those beers that not only do I like it, but it's a complex stout. It's one that even, you know, someone who likes stouts is going to be, and have to sort of take it apart. And again, that 12% alcohol, it's almost like it's not there, which is really a beautiful attribute to the beer. Anyway, folks, this has been Speedway Stout, Imperial Stout with coffee, and it is by Alesmith Brewing Company, and it's coming in at 12% ABV. And I have to tell you, if I saw it out there in the wild, would I buy it again? Like that. It's a good, solid stout, and it's one that a stout drinker can really dive into and enjoy. Anyway, folks, I hope you have enjoyed the review. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you next time on End of the Day Beer Review. Cheers.